because I might be able to help you out with something. Let me see. Where's my search bar? That's new.
Okay, so I think we're live
Oh, I'm
now. I'm just gonna hit the record button before I forget. Uh, okay, brilliant. So we should be live streaming in a second. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. I just need one moment to compose myself. At
and it's
5:30
not
a.m.
because of me.
It's 5:30 a.m. and there's stuff going down. So 1 second. But it's great to see you, and thank you for jumping on so quickly. And I'm just getting up your bio. Ah, here we go. Here we
Oh,
go. Let me
you
find
have
your
36 followers. I'm one of them.
on Rumble. Really?
Yep, I just went and
Thank you
looked.
for following me. Do you
Ah,
follow me
you're
on
welcome.
YouTube?
I do.
Because I'm at
Although,
500, and then that's gone down. So we hit
actually,
the 500 guys. So I'm happy about it. Um,
I, actually, Anchor or Julia, I can do you one solid on that.
you get different profiles, so you got to follow me from a different profile. I'm
I
gonna do your
have
bio. Let's do
I
your
have
bio.
4 YouTube channels.
You
I
got
can
40.
follow you from a different channel.
I really appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to do your bio. So welcome. Today I'm joined by Michael Kopf, who is a lifelong experiencer and dedicated explorer of the paranormal, metaphysical, and esoteric realms. His journey began with his first paranormal encounter at just 2 years old, an experience that sparked a lifetime of curiosity and spiritual discovery. Growing up, he frequently witnessed shadow beings and other supernatural phenomena, leading him to study various spiritual and healing modalities, including Huna, timeline therapy, tarot, gypsy palm reading, and Reiki, earning the title of Reiki Master and Reverend through a 2.5 year ministerial program. Forgot that was in there, to be honest. So through his life, he's experienced astral travel, 3 near-death experiences, and the ability to sense spiritual presences. His lifelong fascination with mythologies, ancient cultures, and genealogy has deepened his understanding of the unseen forces connecting human consciousness and history. So you're an active investigator with several paranormal teams. And we've had weird conversations with you in the middle of nowhere at the dead of night and stuff like that.
I
Right?
remember that night.
Michael, welcome. Thank you for joining me. How are
Th-
you?
Thank you. I'm doing well, and I regret to inform everyone I'm already following you on all my YouTube channels.
Ah,
So, but if you're
I
watching this
appreciate that though.
and you're
Yeah.
not following Anchorhaven, please become the 500th follower again, and let's put
Yes.
her back over 500 and
Again.
then some.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to get up the live stream chat, see if I can find where we're actually streaming to. And see what's going on here. So I'm on my laptop as well. But yeah, your bio is massive. I don't think I've met anyone else with such a big bio. Apart maybe Draco Reed, who's got like a full page. I try and concise everyone's bio with my chat GPT. So the history of everyone is held in my chat GPT. But I copy, oh, let me turn it off. 1 second. So I'm just trying to get up the live stream chat. I copied everyone's bios from Rob. 1 moment, I'm trying to mute my laptop. Sorry about that. So yeah, my energy's a bit all over the place. So good morning, James. Good morning, Sil. Good morning, Willard. Willard, please behave yourself. Good morning, Missing Time 420. Thank you so much for joining us this fine morning. It's 5:30 a.m. here in the UK, in the northwest of England, and I'm in the Liverpool City region, where there's a deep underground military base about 200 meters from my house. So so it's really nice to have you all here. So these are our early morning lives, and they are very random, and we do questions and answers. But I would like to talk about your new book. So let's start there. Tell us about this new book of yours.
So, my new book is Deeper Insights into the Mind of Michael. And what it is I've taken topics that come up in conversations, and because I was raised in metaphysics and have a different awareness in life, I thought, it'd be interesting to take and answer some of these questions. And as I started writing the book, I realized, well, these questions don't have answers. So what I decided instead was like I have a topic, a chapter around ancestry and genealogy and what does it mean. And so I go in and I explain, well, this is what ancestry is to me. This is what genealogy is to me. This is where I'm at with the rabbit hole. Now it's up to you to take it to the next level. And so I leave it for people to answer on their own and hopefully see how the rabbit hole got started. And as we all know, rabbit holes never end. And so there are other concepts like I do difference of perception versus thought. And so I share different backgrounds of sites where I quote a movie in one chapter that had a profound impact on me. And so my goal is okay, you get to see what I see in the movie. So now you go watch the movie, see what you think. And so it was basically a book where I take people down a rabbit hole and stop where I'm currently at with it, share my insights, and then leave the conclusion to the reader and decide, okay, is this enough information for you? Great. You want more? Go get it.
Yeah, I love that. That sounds really good. How many books have you got now in total?
Five, and I got two more in the works.
Really? How long is it
Really?
taking you to knock out a book? Yeah,
So that's kind of a funny story is
go for it.
the first four books were originally one book that I broke apart. And so they were published one right after the other because I just needed to edit or add little bit more information. And then they were done. And so they were done pretty quickly, like a month apart from the year that I spent on them before. And book five, I actually sat down and if I look at the amount of time that I actually spent on it, I would say I wrote it in a month. And I don't know how I did it. I just know I did. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. So there's a few of us in the chat, and they've got just received a loads of new information that's quite personal. So when I get information coming in from Recall or from psychics, I have a process of working with that information. Have you got your own process to like explore things and question it? What do you do when you get information coming in or memories?
When I get information from others, I sit there and I sit with it and go, does this resonate? And if it does, then I go, why does it resonate? What about it resonates? And is this a truth? Do I have a spark of a memory of any of this? And if I do, I keep going. And if I don't, I just kind of put it on the back burner, so to speak, and I'll think about it, but I won't really actively pursue it. And on the flip side, if somebody tells me something and it just doesn't resonate with me, I just let it go. And I just say, well, maybe it'll resonate with me later, or maybe it wasn't mine and our paths got crossed. And so I don't ever try to claim anything that I don't have memory for. And
Yeah.
when I wrote my SSP book of my 3-year journey, I was very clear in saying these are memories I have And I know these memories come from this, or these memories come from that. But if I wasn't sure where the memory came from, but I knew it was a memory for sure, I would state, hey, I had this memory. Like an example of that is I talk about a memory I have of walking on a ship in outer space, literally walking on the hull with no spacesuit on and sending ships that were coming through a gate to another dimension. And I was like, I don't know if this is SSP memory or is this, being a hybrid? Could it be from my star being, work that I do? And when I was researching projects, I came across Solar Warden. And Solar Warden says we're the guardians of the space. We will remove elements that aren't supposed to be there. And when I read that, I instantly went to that memory of walking on the hole, and I was like, I think I was in Solar Warden. I think this memory goes to Solar Warden. What do you think? What do you think as the reader? Am I combining two things that maybe aren't really combined, or am I on the right track? And so that's how I don't claim the memory, but I show you where I'm at with what it could possibly be.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's perfect. So I have like an SSP mentor, and one of the things they said to me was if you don't have the memory, it didn't happen. If you don't have that memory, doesn't matter what anyone's telling you, what they're coming forward, what they remember, until you remember it, take it that it did not happen. It's not real. So, and that's quite hard to sit with because like people are telling you loads of stuff and you want it to be real or you try to make connections. But yeah, it's that discernment is super important. So when I get new information in, I might take 3 to 6 months with that information and then I'll break it down. And like you, I'll pick the bits that I really resonate with the most, break it down even further so that I'm making more and more questions. So like they were saying, well, I've got another session with somebody, I'm really excited, and saying, no, take a big break in between those sessions so that you can feel into that information, break it down, break it down, break it down into the smallest form so that you can clearly explain it to a child if you needed to. Do you know what I mean? So like that's how I work, so that I can explain everything so simply and clearly that like my son should be able to understand my work when he's interested. So yeah, I totally agree. Jason Missing Time would like you to go into your early paranormal experiences, right? And I was saying to him, if that's fine, but I get scared with your weird shit. And but last time we did this, it was like 1 a.m. and I was about to go to bed, and we've been talking about like some really scary stuff. And I'm a wimp. I really am a wimp. But this time it's 5:51 a.m. I'm starting my day. I'm not going to get scared. I will not get scared today. So please tell us anything you want to know about your early paranormal experiences. Leave nothing out.
Well, so this is gonna sound interesting, but one of my first paranormal investigations was a place in San Antonio, Texas called the Black Swan Inn. And it was known to be haunted and everything. And walking around, you kind of get the sense of things. But the one thing that I found most interesting was they had created a closet where they created a psychomantium. Now, for your listeners who don't know what a psychomantium is, it's a room where you sit in front of a mirror and there's a very dim light to no
I've done
light.
that and it scared the bejesus out of me because I was drowned in the Titanic. That's what came through. And I saw myself like in the
Yeah,
mirror. Okay, carry on, sorry.
yeah, but for me, I sat there and I stared and I stared and I could see different, like the mirror start to change and stuff, like maybe like a fog or something starting to show up in the mirror. And I kind of was like, okay. And so I got up and walked out of it kind of and was like, hey, does anybody else want to try it? And they're like, nope, not gonna do it. I was like the only one that did it. And the one thing though that I had to say that people don't understand about the psychomantiums is you have to be strong in your mind, strong in your will, because you can see a lot of things in there in that mirror because it will reflect back more than your reflection. And if you're not prepared for that, it can do some mental, uh, I don't want to say the word damage because it's not really damaging, but it can really mess with your head and really make you lose your grip of reality for a while. And so,
Yeah, I mean, I experienced it with the mirror and the light, but I've also gazed into an obsidian plate and asked the question of basically who's watching me right now. And I saw these two men's faces appear. Oh, scared me big time. But I got my answer, but it freaked me out.
yeah,
Yeah, so you do have to be brave to do that mirror gazing. It's I saw myself dead. I saw myself dead, right? So not good. Yeah, scary. Sorry.
yeah.
We've got into the scary stuff. Okay, God. Oh,
But
what's
yeah, that's one of my early ones. And another one, actually, this one is kind of funny, is I was not supposed to be on this investigation, but the two team leads that arranged it were going with two other ladies on the team, and they couldn't make it, so they reached out to me and said, hey, I know it's last minute. Can you go run this investigation? I was like, okay. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going or what's going on, but okay. And so it was the Magnolia in Seguin, Texas. And it's a really haunted place. Well, we're in the upper area, the upper floor, and we're walking around, and they have one door separating the new section from the original section, the old section. And so we're walking through, and they have these like candles that have battery power to them, the faux candles, and some are lit, some aren't. And we'll be walking through, and then all of a sudden, some that were not lit are now lit, and some that were lit are now off. And I was like, hey, the candles are not on, or and so I was noticing that. And the funny part is, I'm standing in the doorway to the original cabin section, and there's a fireplace in front of me on the right side of me. The left side of me is in a hallway, and on the other side of the hallway is the originally called the murder room where a murderer stayed. And when they found out now that he didn't do it, so he's kind of been exonerated, but they still call it the murder room. Well, I'm standing in the doorway, and the two ladies are on the like diagonal to me on the other side of the room, sitting down and talking. And I kid you not, this is where it gets funny. My shirt gets plucked, and my first thought is, "Oh, I caught my shirt on a nail in the door frame, so I'm feeling it." And I turn around, I'm about this far from the door frame. There's no way. And I go to the ladies, I was like, "Hey, my shirt just got plucked." And they're like, "What? Where?" And I was like, "On the side that's in the hallway." And they're like, "That's by the murderer's room." And I was like, "I know." and there's nothing here, and we're the only ones in here. And so I was like going, who just plucked my shirt? And how did you pluck my shirt? And when I say pluck, it's like they took it on the back and went and snapped it. It's like I could feel the shirt move. And I was like, ooh,
I'm trying to be brave, right? So for a super soldier, this front altar, he is a wimp, an absolute wimp. Anchorhaven, she's brave. Julia is not. So Julia's sitting here like, oh dear, oh dear, because I can visualize everything you say. My visuals can step into other people's projections, right? So I'm like, he's in the hallway, right? So
yeah.
what happened after that?
After that, we kind of just went around, and the spookiest part of the investigation, that wasn't the spookiest part. The spookiest part was there's a super heavy door that's on a swing close kind of latch. And we dragged the door so far that it was like you couldn't close this door unless you physically pushed it. And we're in a room next to the murderer's room, and we're checking all the rooms, and we hear a door slam. So we go to check what's going on. The heavy door slammed shut. And so we're like, well, did the AC kick on and was it enough power to do that? And so we tried it, and I was like, we were like, nope. No matter how, what position we put the door in, the air was not enough to move it. And we tried and said, well, was it slightly? And walking caused the door to slam because the old board's moving, and we couldn't get it to do it. And so we go to sleep. The next day, we get up and we're walking around looking again, and the door is propped open again. Well, we get into the hallway and the door slams shut again. So it was like the one time that I got to say I could experience the same phenomenon 2 days in a row. Something was letting us know that it was like, hey, we're not air conditioning this side of the house, so keep this door closed, is what I'm kind of thinking now.
That's Do you believe in like each property has its own guardian spirit? Do you believe in that? Because I
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, and because I used to have a studio called the Mystical Wellness Studio, Crystal Shop and Wellness Centre, and there's definitely guardian spirits there. But I've probably told you guys, but it used to be an old pub. And so when I first went in, I was alone there for like 5 days, and they used to pull my hair like this. I'd just be walking around, and my hair would start moving like that. It was freaking
You
me out.
didn't you
Yeah.
didn't ask the Fae if you could be there, did you?
No. And so this so I did an opening on the Friday night. I said this the other day actually, and then the Saturday morning I came in and there was a rune on the floor which was Dagas, new day, new dawn. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. A guide's left me something. And then another local witch came in and she said, that's a gift from the Fae. You've just entered into a contract. And I was like, no, what the hell? I had no idea. But because it used to be an old pub, I had this big counter that looked a bit like a bar. And I love to do sound. I'm a sound therapist, so I used to ring bells. And then I got this feeling of they really don't like it when I ring the bell. Because here in the
Oh no.
UK, last orders, ding a ling a ling, last orders, ringing the bell, everybody get out, right? So I felt like that. So then I realized, oh shit, I can't do that anymore. But I used to stand there at the counter, like, and there was like a barmaid or somebody right next to me. I could feel this cold chill right next to me. So I was there for 2 years and I closed it down in the end. We did a lot of psychic work there, and yeah, I didn't like to be there alone, and I ended up having to sleep there one night, and I was terrified. And I had like I made up this makeshift like camp bed, and I had covers over my head, and it was as if I could feel all the spirits around me going, what's she doing, what's she doing? But then I woke up the next day and I felt very supported, so that was good. But that night terrified me. I can still imagine it. I can still see them like go, what's going on? So yeah, but I had a weird experience there. But no, I'll tell that another time because I'll get too scared. Okay, so carry on with your spooky stories. Honestly, I get really scared. But Jason says he's loving these stories. Okay, so carry on.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's see.
And we got Jane
Oh,
Celia Hatch in the chat. Hello, Jane. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. It's so cool.
who's in
Yeah,
the chat?
Jane Celia Hatch, the shaman and super soldier.
Oh, she was
Yeah,
recently on my show.
yeah. I've not
Hi,
seen that actually.
Jane.
I need to check that. You seem like a very cool, calm kind of guy. So when this is going on and the doors banging and stuff like that, are you just like, oh, look at this, look what's happening, or are you like, get out of the way? Because that's how I would be.
Actually, I run towards it. I want to know what's going on, and so I'll run towards it and be like,
Oh,
"What happened?" And I'm like calm, and I don't get hysterical, or I'm not the
yeah.
"Did you hear that?"
I want you on my
repeatedly
team
kind
for
of
sure.
person.
Jason says, what kind of protection do you do before an investigation and do you cleanse after? So tell us about your protocol before we go on.
So before an investigation, I will surround myself with bright light, energy, and high energies around me. And now, for the past 2 years, I wear what's called a quince seed around my neck when I investigate. And what that does is the quince seed is a seed that is harvested by Italian nuns, and then they put it in a resin, and so it's spiritually blessed and everything. And they found that it creates like a 3 foot aura around the individual or wherever it's at. It creates a barrier. And so when I have it around my neck, nothing that I don't want to interact with can touch me within 3 feet. It can get up to 3 feet from me, and that's as far as it can go. But here's the interesting part about it. If I have something attached to me and I put the quinceac on, it is trapped in me until I take the quinceac off. So, as much as it's keeping me safe, it also keeps whatever's around me that I didn't realize was around me stuck to me. And so I will every once in a while sage my quinceac and clean it because I'll start to feel a little strange and I'm like, okay.
So
And
these are my Rudraksha, which are like tears of Lord Shiva, special seeds from India. So I'm putting mine on now.
I have a necklace like that
Do
actually.
you? Yeah. So if anyone wants to see that, I don't know if anyone can see it.
Yeah.
But these are the ones that have just 4 lines on are meant to be for like activating the third eye. But you'll see me wear them on certain lives when I know that energy's coming at me. Yeah, so I'm putting it
Yeah.
on. Thanks for a reminder, guys.
But that and so that's pretty much what I do before. Afterwards, I will spray sage on me, and I have quinceac in my car, so my car is safe and shielded. So anything, since I'm wearing the quinceac, if something does manage to attach to my energy field, when I get into the car, that quinceac pushes it off, so to speak, and so nothing really can follow me home. And even if somehow it does, we have quinceac above all of our doors, so it's like, wow, it's got to be really impressive if it can get through all of that. And we have little dogs, and so we have a puppy door so they can go outside on their own. We have a quinceac above their door as well.
I'm just checking Etsy to see if I can get it out here. If I can get like a blessed quinceac. I think I can actually. Because I've
Yeah.
not heard of that before. So that's a great tip for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, shungite and organite, that's some stuff that I wear too to help
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
energy
Oh,
clearing and everything.
so I've got orgonite phone stickers to block out EMF. I've got jewelry that has orgonite. This is Orifim shungite. So the shungite has been activated with silver, and yeah, so I wear that. So yeah, quince seed. I'll pop it in the main chat here. Um,
Yeah, I put it in the chat room for you so you can make sure you're spelling it right.
that's cool. So yeah, so tell us about more investigations that you've done, spooky things. The guys would love to hear about it.
Well, one that I think everybody would love except for Julia is I was at a hospital that was shut down years ago, like probably in the 1950s is when it was last used. And a friend of mine who I met here, she ran a haunted house in the bottom of it. And so I met her by doing a paranormal investigation of the hospital, and we hit it off. And one night, she had us going through and investigating it, and all the animatronics were turned off. And I went to the basement where the haunted house was, and I'm walking, and they have a doll room in there, and the doll room creeps me
God.
out.
Oh my God. I'm really
And
scared.
if you ever watched Destination Fear, Chelsea was in the doll room. They actually came and investigated here, and they found this mask coming out of a doll that scared Chelsea. So we kind of dubbed the doll the Chelsea doll because of her. But that's not the cool part. The cool part is I'm walking through and I'm on my own. Yes, I know as a paranormal investigator, we're not supposed to be on our own, but I go on my own sometimes, not too far from everyone. So if I need help, I can yell out for it. But I'm walking and I get to a certain part, like probably a quarter to the end of the hallway on the bottom, and something starts growling at me. And the first time this happened, I hear the growl, and something just doesn't feel right. And so I just turn around, calmly walk upstairs, and everyone's like, well, we should go downstairs. I was like, nope, not going downstairs. And they go, why? I said, I just came from there. Something growled at me, and I'm gonna leave it alone. And
Oh my God. I'm so scared. So
but
did they not go down there?
no, well, later on they did, but not right away. And I come to find out that there's a door that's been barricaded shut for safety reasons, and the custodians of the place, that's my friends, she comes up and tells me, don't knock on this door because if you do, something will scratch back
Yikes.
and or it'll growl at you. And I was like, oh, well, here's the thing. And I just now realized this now telling this story where I heard the growl is downstairs from where they said it is on the first floor. So it's like I was actually one floor lower, same
Yeah.
spot, getting growled at.
So what do you think it is?
Oh, there were a lot of spirits in there because it was a church-run hospital, and they weren't always the, nicest of people taking care of people in the best of ways.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this hospital is it's 7 floors total. Well, the fifth floor had a surgery room on both sides on one end. And so it was like, wow, they actually did surgeries in here. And they had a little chapel on the third floor where our friends had brought pews in. And so on the fifth floor, this you might want to plug your ears on this one, Julia.
It's projected into my brain, by the way, because I've got hearing aids on. So it's literally, I'm putting on my Florida water. I am. Because James in the chat has just put that the frequencies that he hears got louder about 15 minutes ago, or a dampening field powered up more. So something's going down here. So just, yes, cleansing. Carry on, carry on.
So one night I go on the fifth floor and I'm on the opposite side of the surgery room and oh, the wind is blowing in because they don't have windows in certain parts of it, and it's a really cold night, and so we were like, okay, well, actually, I'm going to tell a story first. That this one actually you'll be laughing about, Julia. And so we're in this room, a female friend and I, we're teammates and we're investigating and we start to walk out and she stumbles forward and everybody was like, Michael just tripped her. What is the deal? And I go, I never touched her. Well, it turns out the video cameras, they could rewind because my friend and her husband were there. So he rewinds the tape. My foot never actually touches her. Something else caused her to trip, but they all were like, their first thoughts were, I just tripped somebody. And I'm like, what? So that was one night. And so fast forward to New Year's Eve, the same year, same room. I'm with another team I just met, and they're a really great team, Ghost Geeks. They're recently bought the Old Park Hotel in Ballinger, and so it's really cool what they're doing over there. So shout out to them. And Chad, who runs Ghost Geeks, and I were talking, and he hears my voice, or as we're talking, and he goes, did you just hear your name? And I said, no. He goes, I just heard like a computer would say your name, that digitalized voice. And I said, really? Well, then we hear a door slam on the floor. So we go rushing out to see what doors slammed shut. No doors. All the doors are open that were open. We can't figure out which door it is. Well, there's this little room between both sides of the hallway where there's a door. And I walk in the room, and guess what's sitting on the table? A computer book. And so I go to Chad. I said, Chad, check this out. There's a book about computers. And he's like, dude, remember I heard your name like a computer? I was like, yeah, I know.
Oh
And so
shit.
we were like, how cool is that? And we then, we keep investigating and we're like, wow, so we never figure out what closed the door. But on another night, same room, we're investigating. And remember how I mentioned some of the windows are broken? Well, there was a small, slight breeze. a there's a book on a bookcase, and I'm going to show you what it did. So imagine this book sitting on a bookcase. All of a suddenly, it goes like this: lifts up, sets back down. Then it goes, oh, let's do 2 pages. Lifts up, sets down. 3 pages, lift up,
Oh,
set back down. And I'm like, well, if there's breeze, the breeze would not lift up, 1 page and then lift up again 2 pages. So something was going on.
yeah.
Well, we then get a call on the radio that says, look up. And we look up, and the cabinet door, there's two upper cabinets, and one of them goes like this and starts to swing open and then closed. And I'm like,
Woo! Okay.
okay. And so I worked for an engineer, and so I'm sitting here thinking, okay, wind is coming in. Is there enough draft to maybe pull this open? I swear I think whoever was doing it heard me because it closed the cabinet all the way and then opened it slightly and then slightly a little more and then closed it all the way. Meanwhile, the other door never moves. The two doors next to it, because there were two uppers,
Mm.
never moved, just the one door. And I got it on film, and I'm like, I still, to this day, when I watch it, I get chills of how did that door move? How did those pages move? Because they were all in the same area.
Yeah.
And this room is the room where on the Christmas Eve I heard my name digitized, where my friend got tripped. And another night, because I investigated there a lot, because it's only like an hour and a half from my house while it was open. And I was there with another team because I like to collaborate. And we were sitting in the waiting room of the surgery ward area, and we were just talking. And my friends caught a shadow being starting to walk towards us. And on this fifth floor, my friend who was caretaker at the time, she was telling us how they were up there working and there was water puddled up because the rain had gotten in from a previous day, and there were wet footprints in an area where nobody was walking or working. And here was the cool part. The footprints walked up and stopped right behind where they were. So it was standing right behind somebody.
Oh my God, this is awful. As you're talking, I'm literally taking Excalibur out of my heart chakra, like, no, Shadow Being, no, taking swords off my back, no way. Shadow
But
Beings mess with my head, yeah, no way.
yeah, and so the
Oh,
last thing I'll share with this one location, because I investigated there for like 2 years, like probably 20 times. But on this occasion, this one blew my mind, and it became a joke with a famous celebrity in the ghost community. Well, we had just cleaned the ovens area where the hospital would burn the fabric or burn the sheeting or burn the bodies that they were to be cremated. And so it's right next to the crematorium. And so there were two ovens. Well, just get it cleaned out, and two famous ghost hunters are guest investigating. One of them I'm with, and I'm, making sure everything goes smoothly. And she starts doing a meditation, like preparing everyone for what's to come. I see this white jacket start going and running towards the door, And I am far from the door, and I'm in my head going, how do I stop this person from coming in and causing a disturbance? How am I going to get over there? I can't even get over to the door. How am I going to do all of this? And I look up again and I realize I can't see outside. The windows are blocked by furniture. So the white coat I saw run by was already in the room. And she just finishes her spiel and she goes, so, does anyone have anything they want to add? And so I say to her, while you were doing your thing, there was an apparition that was right between the furniture against the wall and these two chairs that went running by. And I was trying to figure out how am I going to keep them from entering the room. And then I noticed I can't see outside. They were already in the room. And she goes, why didn't you say anything? I said, well, out of respect, I didn't want to interrupt your process. And so the joke between her and I was, next time you interrupt.
Yeah. Oh my word. Oh my word. The whole time you're talking, the Ghostbusters movie keeps coming into my mind. You know, when you've got like the hellhounds coming in and you've got all these things like ectoplasm, that's kind of where my level of spooky stays, right? I really don't go deep in that because it sticks in my mind. However, on Typical Skeptic podcast recently, we did have an EVP. So Rob was doing a call in, right? And someone's talking, and then you hear this voice just go, Rob, like that. It's like, whoa, you need to go and listen to that and then let us know what you think that was. Yeah, whether it was like in his room or on the phone line. We need to know for sure.
Yeah.
Investigate. Yeah, there's comments as well on it where you can see where people think it is. I was listening back to it on Spotify actually, while I was out and about in the daylight, so it was not scary, because I'm terrible. Oh, the Woo Rider is in the chat now, thank God. This is scary stuff for me. I don't like going into the scary paranormal realms. I'm a complete wimp. Yeah, James remembers the EVP on Typical Skeptic. And yeah, this is great stuff. Keep going.
Oh,
Paranormal
well.
Mike is in the house. Keep going.
So the hospital ends up closing. So we move the haunted house to a military base that was abandoned from the Vietnam War where they trained helicopter pilots. And so we were like, really cool. We're in the store building and we also had the bank. And so
What's
what
the
I'm
location on that? What's the area?
Mineral Wells, it's right as you enter the town. And so what's funny is so these experiences come from the PX building, which is the store or commissary where you can buy goods. So we're setting up and installing the walls and setting the layout for the first year we were going to be there. And you're going to laugh at this, Anchor. I
Yeah.
start walking towards where the two people in charge of the haunt are located, my friends, because I was going to ask them a question. And as I'm passing this hallway, I hear this woman scream like bloody murder scream, and I get chills running up my back. It was so loud. And I walk up to him and I was like, why did you scream? And she's like, we didn't scream. Nobody screamed. I'm like, you cannot tell me you did not hear that scream. And she's like, no. I was like, oh, we're in for a fun ride now because this place is haunted. And so we do the haunted house. And one night while I'm working on scaring people, as a volunteer actor, I decided to give it a try. I hear this little girl that says, where am I? And I turn around to answer her. There's nobody there.
No.
There's no little girl. And I'm like, what? I'm like, and so I told my friend that runs it, and she's like, that's really cool. Okay. Well, fast forward some time, and we're investigating, and the Chelsea doll is in there. And my arm starts feeling pressure while I'm talking to the Chelsea doll. And I ask, and I go, "Are you messing with my arm?" And it goes, "Yes." And I go, "Is it because you don't want me here?" And it goes, "Yes." I said, "Okay, I'll walk away then." My arm, as soon as I turned and started walking away, was totally fine.
Oh gosh. We've got a Valkyrie in the chat now as well, so it's like all the strong wizards and Valkyries are coming in to calm me down. So,
It's about to get jumpy for you.
oh God. I'm gonna mute myself
So you
now.
mentioned EVP. I was I was doing a 2-night investigation with two different teams. The first night I was there with two ladies, and we have cat balls down in the lobby area, and we're playing cadences, which in America, cadence is a song you sing while you're marching when you're training. Well, there's one part where the cat balls start going off, and we're like, oh wow, they're really enjoying hearing the cadence and this patriotic music. Really cool. I go back and I replay it, and in the middle of the cadence is a male voice that says, "Pause it." And I'm the only male in the
What?
building. And I forget, my history of technology. And I go to my friends, I was like, oh my God, we got a male. This is not my voice. And they know the technology that we're using because it clearly says pause it. And somebody laughingly goes, we did have the ability to pause and play in the 1960s. And I was like, good point. So wasn't as much of a brainy like surprise comment after that, but
Okay,
I
that's
did,
pretty cool. That's cool. That's
yeah.
not too scary, yeah.
But it gets even better. So then the next night there is I'm with a friend of mine who I used to do shows with, and her team, and they had two guests from Chicago investigating with us. We get to the doll area. Yes, my friend likes dolls. And there's this digital giggle that goes off. And it's like every 12 or 15 minutes. And they're asking me about it. And I said, I've been investigating here for a few months now. There is no giggle. What are you talking about? I'm thinking I'm getting pranked. And somebody's seeing if I'll really admit to being a paranormal investigator or if they can pull a fast one on me. And they're like, well, can you stay here? I was like, yeah. I was like, when's the next one due? And they go like 3 minutes. I kid you not. I hear a laugh. That's like a digital doll laugh. And I'm like, where the hell is that coming from? And I look at everybody, I was like, I have never heard this before. This is brand new. I was here last night. This was not going on last night. And I said to everybody, I was like, do we want to figure out where this is coming from? So here's the sad reality of our lives. We spent an hour and a half in this room, standing in a circle, standing in corners, standing in doorways, standing in a straight line. And in an hour and a half of every 12 to 15 minutes hearing this laughter, we are no closer figuring out where it's coming from than when we started. So we just gave up. We're like, I don't know where this laugh is
Well,
coming from.
coming from under the floor. There's like a space under the floor, and that's where it's coming from. It's the spirit that's messing with you, right? But I can see that there's like a little door under the floor. I don't know why I see that, but that's what I'm getting. Is that
That would
true?
be
Who
interesting
knows?
because it was a
But
concrete floor.
exactly, yes. So I don't know why they're showing me that, but it freaks me out. I think they're just messing with my head because I don't like
Well,
scary stuff.
you might be seeing because we found out. after, so I'll get to the realization that we had. So the following Friday, my friend allows me to come back with three people to see if we can figure out what's going on. Well, we're sitting in the room and the laughter starts up again. And I'm like, this is the second time in my paranormal career I get repeat evidence. And I'm like, this is really cool. So we again spend about 2 hours trying to figure out where it's coming from, and we can't. And a friend of mine that's there, she runs security for the building, and she is like cursing up a storm and is like laughing out of fear because she's like, I don't know where this is coming from either. I've never heard this being here. What is going on? And we get cat balls that are going repeatedly, like four times. Like it would
Yeah.
go start flashing, and the second it stopped, it'd start up again. It would do it in four sequential periods. And about a few weeks later, my friend messages me and she says, we found the doll that makes that sound. She's battery operated. However, we can't get batteries to to work in her. It's like we can't figure out how to get the batteries in, or there was something about the batteries weren't making it work, but we knew which doll was making the sound, and so we were like,
Mm.
oh, I remember what it is she said she put batteries in all the dolls and the doll made the sound, but when she went and was checking, there were no batteries. They had to go find the
Oh my
batteries to put
gosh.
in. And so, and here's the interesting thing. She then hears it in another part of the building. So
I'm
it had
telling you, that's
left
a
the
spirit. I'm
dolls.
telling you, that's spirit. That's nothing to do with that doll. And Valkyrie in the chat, she's also said that she's getting a visual of a small concrete room under a concrete floor. There you go. So
It
there's
could be.
something there. There's something there for sure. But Wu was basically getting something else, which I think was funny. So I can't remember, can't find it now. But what did Wu say? I can't find it. But yeah, oh my god, this is so scary. You know why I get so scared by this doll thing? One, because it's creepy dolls, and I just China dolls freak me out. But when I had my ACIO interview, I'm supposed to be in a project called Mannequin, and which some people say is Manchurian Candidate, but no, the ACIO said it was about creepy dolls, putting souls into creepy dolls. So I'm in a lab surrounded by dolls, and then a nemesis has put a piece of their soul into a doll to attack me, right? So this is
So
why it freaks me out a little bit. So I'm just like, oh shit, this is
those
not
are
good.
vessel dolls.
Thanks. So
And so
yeah.
when you have so what it is there are dolls that do have spirits, that have, like kind of attached to them. And so they can react and, do certain things. But there is also dolls that when, say, a child died, the parents or somebody took the essence of that child and put it in the doll and imprisoned it in the doll. So it's forever attached to that, and those are known as vessel dolls.
Well, I have another doll story, right? Before we move on away from the dolls. So I went to see this psychic who's quite local, quite famous, and I'm sitting there and I went with my sister, Suzanne Sapphire Soul, and she goes in for her reading. And I'm sitting at this table with these two people who are very curious people. So there was a guy, maybe in his 30s, dark hair, and there was a lady who seemed older, and she was talking to me and she was gazing at me. And then she starts to kind of look beyond me, and to say start talking about my sister and saying about my sister's journey was so difficult this time, but she was here to protect me. Then she was talking about my daughter who's in spirit, which I have not got a daughter in spirit as far as I know, but quite a few people have talked about this daughter in spirit. She's talking about that, and then she says to the guy across the table, we're just sitting in somebody's kitchen, oh, tell her about the doll. And I'm like, sorry. Well, and they're saying that somebody gave them a doll because the doll was possessed and they wanted the doll out of their house. So they got this doll, which looked Japanese, which was like beautiful and perfect. But then they realized that the doll wanted attention. So they had to brush its hair and make sure its clothes were just so. And then they tried to keep it in a shed down the bottom of the garden. But he kept getting this feeling that he had to go and check on the doll. So then the doll decided it would rather be in their bedroom and sleep between the two of them, right? And they tried to put it in other places, but no, the doll was not having it. It liked to be propped up on their pillow. And then, so the guy's feeding all this attention into the doll. And yeah, this, oh God. And they tried to put it in a room by itself in its own cot as well. But discovered that anybody went near it had their energy loosed from the doll. So they'd wake up exhausted, and it's just a freaking creepy. So they're saying to me, would I like the doll? No, I don't want the doll, right? So they gave it away to like a charity shop, like a Goodwill in the end. But I think, oh, that's a terrible responsibility when you get a possessed doll from Japan. Super
Oh
creepy
yeah.
shit. Yeah, I think, yeah, let's leave it there. Sorry.
But
Carry on, carry on.
I can explain your daughter though.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
So you're in the mindset of this life, you
Yeah.
have no daughter that's missing.
Mm.
They never said this life.
Yeah.
So it could very, when you mentioned that about the daughter, I was like, the first thing in my head I heard was past life.
Oh, okay.
It's a daughter from a past life that's come.
Okay.
And
That's
that's
nice.
why you're like, I don't have a daughter,
Yeah.
but you did.
Yeah, okay, okay. I've not looked too much into my past lives, but you know when you have like lines on your hand and people tell you how many children and get your palm read and they say, yeah, you're gonna have a boy and a girl. But I've just got a boy, he's 16, and so then I kind of thought, well, what if they were twins, and what if that spirit didn't stay and it went off? So I just thought of it like that, really. So I know she's there. I actually call her Alyssa, like Alyssa Milano. I call her Alyssa. So, but I don't really connect into with her very often or anything like that. But people always tell me about my daughter in spirit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's good.
Yeah. So, do
Yeah.
you want to hear a really cool paranormal experience?
Yes, I do. I'm scared. But the guys are
So,
really enjoying this. So yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was at Broken Bow Asylum in Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and it wasn't an asylum. It was a haunted house. They just gave it that name. And so the building is shaped like a large U. Well, there's a nurse's station, and I was standing at the nurse's station while everybody was talking and doing something in another room. And I'm standing there, and it's like I'm frozen. I am just standing and I'm watching, and I have a body cam on me. And my body cam, I think, is like this, like facing straight out, but it's actually angled off to the left. And what's coming is coming from the right. So I have no footage of it approaching, but you're actually going to hear me curse because this is one of the few times I actually curse in my head. And I,
Head, not even out loud.
huh?
You're cursing in your head. You're not even cursing out loud.
I know. You'll see why in a second. So I step out of the room where they're at because I feel drawn to the hallway. So I'm standing where two hallways meet, and there's a nurse's station. set up, and I stop. And I'm looking, and there's this dark mass starting to form, and it's got blue sparkles to it, like fireworks going off. And I'm like, ooh, this is really cool blue energy. Okay. It gets up to like this, and it's standing right face to face to me. And all of a sudden, a friend of mine who's a medium from Britain comes over my shoulder and says, "It's right in front of you." And I go, "I know."
No
But this is the
shit.
part where I curse. I'm like, in my head, I'm going, "No shit, Sherlock." And I say to him, "I know it's right in front of me, but I'm not backing down." And so the spirit and I are going face to face, and it finally backs down, and I hear something in a room at the end of the hallway to the right. So I go, and this is where something even more amazing happens. So my body cam is recording as I walk into this room, and I start to see this white, like cloudy, globulous mist start to form and walk towards me. And we interact, and I walk out of the room, and I'm like, okay, I need to go step outside. I get home, and on the investigation footage is where I discover one, that the camera was pointed off to the left, so it either moved or something caused it to be on the left, and it records in 5 minute intervals. So I get excited to go see the white blob and
Oh
see
gosh.
what the camera records. It recorded 23 seconds. And so I contacted a couple of police officers that I'd had on my show that are paranormal investigators, and I said, "Got a question for you." And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "Do you body cams ever just shut themselves off?" And they said, "No. You have to physically turn it off." And I said, "Well, I have a body cam that recorded 23 seconds out of the 5 minutes." And they go, "That's not possible. Something caused the body camera to stop working." And so that was one of my cool experiences at this location. Another one is we would have objects thrown behind us while we're not filming. And so got to experience that a couple of times. And we could hear music or voices and doors opening and closing. But one day I was guest touring a paranormal group, and I get to one of the rooms right behind the entry, right into the hallway, and I feel this little tug on my jeans. I'm like, "Sorry, kid, I don't have any candy in my pocket today." And never had it happen again. And I was like, and I always remember having my jeans tugged that day. And my jeans, just so people can visualize it, I had to like really squeeze my fingers to get in because the pockets are really tight on my pant leg. And so, yeah, imagine, feeling a hand tugging inside the pocket, going, "How did you get your hand in my pocket?" That's not easy. It's not a loose pocket.
Oh dear. Oh, that's
But that's not the craziest part.
really.
The craziest part is I'm walking with my ex-girlfriend, and we're in one room, and these two guys that I was collaborating with were across the hallway in another room, and my body cam's running, and this is the last time this body cam ever worked. I had to replace it. Well, I start to talk to my ex-girlfriend and I hear this voice that says, "What are you doing?" And I go, "Well, we're about to go investigate, these rooms. We're just walking through." And I turn, nobody's there. And I
Oh,
look at my girlfriend, or my ex-girlfriend, she was my girlfriend at the time, and I said, "Did you hear that?" She goes, "Yes, I did." And so I went to ask the guys, I was like, "Guys, did you just come in the room?" And they're like, "No." I get home and the body cam has started this hum across the entire footage. Nobody could get the body cam's hum to stop to hear the voice. So it's like I
wow.
had the EVP, but I can't get it because the body cam is humming and the body cam's not supposed to hum.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man,
I'm super impressed that you're wearing body cams. Like everyone's got their own little camera. I never even thought to do that. But I guess if you're like professional, you've got a kit that you take with you. So what's in your kit? What do you take with you on these things?
I used to take K2s, millimeters, digital recorders, camera, full spectrum camera, IR camera, cell phone. I used to have a whole lot of stuff, and now I'm like, I'm, I feel
Yeah.
kind of funny to say. Nowadays, it's just a body camera and a cell phone.
That sounds
I,
good. Yeah, that K2 meter, I do have experience with that. Hold on, let me just check it's the right thing I'm thinking of. Because I had that spooky property, and I used to have a psychic that came in on Thursday nights to do like a psychic circle. But then we decided to do a couple of investigations and on different nights, and then she left one of those K2 meter things behind. And I came in the next day after one of the things, which was a bit uneventful, and there it was, and it was still switched on. And as I walked into this room, it went off. And so I thought, I can do this. I can be brave. No, I can't. And so I sat down and I said, well, if there's a spirit here with me and you would like to talk to me, then please move it into like the yellow zone. And it did. So I was like, okay, okay. So trying to think of questions like, show me the red, show me that you're here and that you're powerful enough to do the
yeah,
red, but you mean me no harm, right? And it did it. So I thought, okay, great. So there's something powerful enough to set this off, but they're here in benevolence, so that's fine. So I actually
yeah,
recorded myself. I'm not sure what that recording is, but we did have a couple of nights where we had these little cat balls. They look like a cat ball, right? It's like motion
yep,
detector, and then they'd be flashing in the room, and so they would go off and things. So I don't like things like that at all. But these people loved it, probably like you. They got super excited about it and they were buzzing. But we ended up in like there's a hallway, and at one end of the hallway there's like a little tiny stock room, and then on the other side was the wellness room, and then there was the shop. We were in the corner, and there was a voice. They were using a voice thing, and it was saying, "We're in here. We're in here, like in the wall. We're in here." Or like we're under the floor. Now this used to be a pub, a public house. So and pubs have basements, but this one did not have a basement, right? But outside there was like a paved off like a copper plate over something, which should have been the barrel drop. So the barrels would come in and they go under the pub, but this one didn't have a basement. So the owner was not aware of the basement being there. There was no access to the basement, right? But I know there was a basement because it's unheard of. Pubs here, they have a ground, like an extra
yeah.
layer to all the barrels to come in, and get locked away and stuff. So, but that place it just freaked me out. But yeah, I've tried. So she used to come with this bag, which was like a preacher's bag or something. And she'd open it up and there'd be like holy water and all this coming out of it. Oh, scary shit. Yeah. Sorry, I'm such a
Yeah.
wimp. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Did you
carry
have
on.
your cell phone on when you were doing the K2 work?
I had yes, but I was so in the end I was videoing it, but I was like more than a meter or so away from the K2. I was. Yeah. Do you think that would have messed with it?
Unfortunately, yes, the cell phones and smartwatches
Yeah.
can cause the K2s to go off.
Oh,
And
it. it was reacting to my question. You could clearly see it was reacting to my question, right?
Well,
So it'd be nothing, and then I'd say a question, and then it would respond,
yeah.
right? Then the
So
lights would go on. So,
there's a reason I bring this up is I was doing an investigation in the attic of a hotel, and yes, I know it sounds strange saying that, but we were. And we're doing K2 work, and my friend is like, and I'm filming this, and we're like, the K2 is responding to questions. Well, we realize a lady sitting across from him has her smartwatch on, and and she's like, starts to respond to texts on
ah,
her watch. And we look and we go, is that a smartwatch? And we said yes. And everybody's face just sank because we thought we were getting all this great evidence. And we
yeah,
go, you're the evidence we're getting. Your watch is what's setting this off. And she goes, no. And we said, watch. And we set the K2 by him. And she was like probably this far away from it. And her watch, she gets a message, and the K2 goes up to like yellow. And we're like, yeah, see? And then she turned her watch off, and the K2 stopped getting reactions. And we're like, yep. So we were like so thrilled
okay.
to have this evidence, and then we're like, nope.
That makes me feel a little bit better. I mean, I don't go to that property anymore, and Valkyrie in the chat is saying that I got a visual of satanic symbols as I was talking about that experience. But the area where it was, the building was on a corner, on a ley line, on a crossroads. So it was just a high energy portal,
Yeah,
basically, that I was caretaking for 2 years. And spirits would literally come through. It really was a spooky space. But where I am at this particular location, that's like 2 miles away from here, yeah, I think there was a bit of a slave trade going on here because we've got the ships, you've got the big soap factory, shall we call them, who put
yeah.
all the products out there. So yeah, there was a bit of a slave trade. So perhaps there are tunnels underground or whatever here, but I don't have that property anymore. I did give it up in the end because I was getting overloaded and I had an issue with a demon. Somebody had opened a portal to a demon, and the demon had tethered itself to me. So then I had to get a shaman to try and release that. But what I've discovered since then was they didn't really detether it. They just kind of pushed the demon away so that there's a boundary around me so they could be right there and I wouldn't see them, but they can't get to me. And I had a friend start to channel the demon, and I'm not too sure how I feel about this. And he was channeling the demon, and so I was asking questions, and I'm supposed to have been married to said demon as a child. And I'm not going to go too deep into it. Every now and then you'll hear me mention a little bit, but yes, so very dark and weird around here.
So
So yeah,
do you want to get rid of it?
yeah. I mean,
Because you can
should we
do
do
it
this?
in one simple sentence.
Okay. Honestly, no, I can't because I've tried many things. Because
Actually,
I was used as a host. Potentially, I was used as a host to channel through other beings, a bit like Olivia James. So that kind of thing happened to me from childhood. I don't want to get into that, but they were using me for my abilities,
yeah.
allegedly. So, but yeah, go on, share your
Okay, so
declaration. Yeah.
I can do it in two sentences.
Okay.
I'll actually have you do it in two sentences.
Let's save it for after. Let's do because I'm really scared. Let's do it after. We'll do it
So
privately.
what it is, I'll
Yeah.
explain it,
Okay.
is everything works under universal law. Nothing can break or go against it. And so when you have uninvited guests, doesn't matter what they are, what energy, anything, you have to, with 100% belief, 100% power behind the statement, declare you are no longer welcome here. It will leave and it
Yeah.
will not come back.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something where you're feeling like, being tethered to,
Mm.
add the statement, our contracts are null and voided. I no longer honor this contract. This was not made, I rescind my consent to this contract. We are no longer tethered. You have to leave, and it has to leave. It
Yeah.
can't sit there and go,
So,
no, wait. It's like,
but
nope.
potentially this situation was from birth and where I was kind of groomed. And I have a vision, which could be a memory. I can't believe I'm going into this live as well. Because I try not to. You hear me talk about little bits, but you never hear me talk about the full thing. So I have a memory of being in a particular room, which I know was a bedroom where I got abducted a lot. Now I realize that now. But in this memory, I can see that the curtains are closed, and in one corner of the room there is a devil. He looks like a devil. That's what he looks like. And I just remember the lighting in the room and everything's changed, and I see the devils there trying to talk to me. That's how it looks. So, but I'm a small child. So, allegedly, from what I've been told by somebody who's allegedly channeled this being, but the emotions attached was that I was basically promised to them. I was engaged. I was married. There were rituals that went on, allegedly, right? I've had a vision of a ritual, but I was in my early 20s. And I used to, at that particular point in time in my 20s, I used to go to bed and feel that I was trapped in the back of my mind and that I was in a dungeon and that my hands were wet against the wall trying to get to this small light where there was a door. And I knew that something else was coming forward. Of course, now I know about altars. Then I did not know about altars. I thought I was the demon, right? So there was that going on every night. So potentially that was a different version of me was activating to take me out to said elite whatevers, parties, rituals, I don't know. So I've had one ritual. So yeah, one ritual vision of I am dressed and I am dressed up and I am next to said person who I adore. I adore them with all my heart and all my might. And that person has been with me since I was a baby. And that's the husband demon, right? And I can see him in this room, and it reminds me of that movie, with Tom Hanks. And the movie name never stays in my mind, but they're in France and they're trying to solve the puzzles, and there's a
Oh, the Da
ritual.
Vinci
Da
Code.
Vinci Code. Oh, so it looks in there. There's something going on, like it's in the Da Vinci Code. But I am sitting and I am on like some kind of throne or something next to said husband, allegedly. And but I'm being honoured. So I don't know if I'm me or if I'm hosting something else, but I am being honoured and bowed to and weird shit like that. And that's the vision I have. So, but when I was talking to my friend who said that they could see this entity was there and that entity was expressing its love for me, I felt that love and I felt that attachment was really strong and I really adored them. And I knew that they tried to protect me, that it wasn't really their fault, that they'd been tied into something as well, and that they had tried to protect me. So, which is very twisted and very messed up. And I apologize to everyone who did not realize that this was the thing. But this is something that I've been dealing with for more than 6 months in the back of my mind. Of because my friend said to me, if you could speak to that entity, would you? And I was like, yeah. Yeah, I would actually. So this started like an hour of conversation, which is not right for me because I'm not that brave. But I was doing it through somebody I trusted at the time. Okay, do I trust them the same way now? No, we've had a few weird experiences. I don't trust them as childlike as I would. So, but I do believe that that entity is still potentially there, but that they've been cordoned off. And but I know that they hold a piece of my heart. So yeah, so it's not as
So,
simple as just saying, get out of here, I don't consent. Because initially, it's a piece of my heart that they hold, and I hold a piece of theirs. So
so do you
figure that
know
one out.
Stephen Popiotech?
No.
Okay, so he's who I learned this from as I did two soul retrievals where he led me on a guided meditation to retrieve parts of soul fragments from the programs.
Yeah.
And I kind of took it a little bit further, but that was, my own little
Yeah.
nod to saying hello, I'm here. But he then was telling me, when we say consent is revoked on our contracts, he then asked him about, what if it's an unknown contract? How do I declare that? And he goes, easy. You just say, I nullify any known and unknown soul
Yeah,
contracts that we have. And they are under galactic law, universal law, null and
yeah.
voided. There is no argument.
I
And
hear you,
so,
and normally I would agree, but with this one, I feel like I've tried many things and it's still there. So I feel like I'm holding on to something because of
well,
there's
what
that
you can
heart
do
connection.
is,
So
yeah,
I need to work through this. Yeah. So
you need to
um,
get your peace back.
well, I might talk to Jane. If Jane's still in the chat, this could be something that Jane and I do together, because Jane does a lot of soul fragment retrieval. And as a crystal
Yeah.
therapist, I am trained to do soul retrieval with a crystal mythology that comes from Atlantis. But for this one, there's something, it's a really deep one because it feels like I was raised basically and protected. Right, I'm 50 now, and even though they were pushed away, yeah, they've always been there. I think there's even a language that we share. There's magic that we share. Do you know what I mean? It's like I had status as well. So I don't remember much about it. It's only just kind
Yeah.
of coming in. But I know it's not something easy to let go of. But when I well, yeah, so when the shaman was doing its thing, right? I was in a period of my life where it's a couple of years ago now, really. I was in a job and I'd got so overly upset in the job by the people around me that I started to have a dark night of the soul. Then the demon thing was going on, something else was going on with like my relationship, my job, and everything was piling on. Dark night of the soul cracked, and it was so bad that I just couldn't pull myself out. And some of it was part of the demonic Lushing because he was trying to get a footing back in this reality because that portal had reopened. So some of that was getting pulled in different directions, and there was so much going on. And then I had a piece of moldavite, and I don't generally work with tektites that
Oh,
much. I
I
love
know
my
Moldavite.
crystals. Yeah, I love my crystals, and I am a crystal. And I thought I'm going to try and work with this moldavite. Nothing else was working. I had my therapy bed out, and I put it on my third eye, and I got nothing. And I thought, oh, this is shit. This is disappointing. Obviously, it's a piece of plastic or whatever. Because if you can get moldavite for less than $30, it's not real. And I'm saying that as a crystal wholesaler, so beware, everybody. So anyway, but then I moved it to my heart, and my therapy bed shook like that. And something changed. But then, unfortunately, the doorbell in my crystal shop went and somebody walked in at that moment. So I had to get up. I had to drag myself up. But something shifted with that moldavite. So it was able to release something that was keeping me really low at the time. But yeah, there's a lot of. I've got a lot of
Yeah.
weird stuff going on there because it was tied into the programs. It was tied into the elite covert program. So it
So,
wasn't just there was like a military thing going on. I feel like my family were tied into it unknowingly and or knowingly perhaps, who knows? So there's a version of me, there's like an altar that would come forward and be that demonic wife, be that host, be that do you know what I mean? So I
oh
still
yeah,
need to I'm not ready to go there fully because I'm scared because I know there's a piece of my soul and my heart attached to that.
yeah. So
Um,
two things. One, did you say you were 50?
yes, I'm 50. 51 this year, in fact.
Oh my God.
I'm,
I
I'm,
was thinking I was way older than you. I'm like, you look like you're in your 30s. I kid you not.
that's very nice, thank you. No, I'm 50. I'm very childlike, and in the programs, I'm aged and de-aged a lot. So I'm younger. So with like Drago Reed as my sibling, he's older than me in the programs, and I'm younger, and we know
Yeah.
that for sure. So my whole personality is younger. I've just been messed with a lot across time and space. But yeah,
And
just as a
and
slight fun on my
secondly,
Zoom, it just takes out some of the wrinkles here on my Zoom.
um, Moldavite is not a crystal or a stone. It's actually a meteorite.
Yeah, tektite. That's what I said.
And so you have to be careful with Moldavite because earth-based stones
Hmm.
for like psychic abilities, it's like if this is your third eye, earthbound crystals will go like this and just like crack it open a little bit.
Yeah.
Moldavite being a meteorite, it just blows it wide open.
It did nothing on my third eye, but on my first eye, on my heart, yes. There it had a reaction. But when I put it here, I was so disappointed because it just wasn't, but I needed it in the heart. That's where I needed it. And that's
Well,
where it worked. Yeah.
not
So,
only that, but the psychic abilities are not always third eye related.
yes, I agree. I agree. I
So,
know. So it did do its job. I generally have
yeah.
black tektites that I work with. But so as a crystal therapist, I put crystals in my bra, and then you take off your bra and you lose all your crystals, right? So they're in here somewhere. So
Uh,
yeah, I have to be really careful.
so
Uh,
Julia, I don't wear one of those, so I can't relate to that.
Pockets.
But
Gonna try and
I
slide it in the pocket. Or wear, do you wear like a mojo bag around your neck with crystals in? Um,
no,
uh,
actually, I wear them on a necklace chain, and I'll just take
Yeah.
the chains
So
off when
this
I'm done
is
with them.
my little mojo bag that I have Andara crystals in there. Do you know Andaras? Have
I
you heard of
do.
Andara? Yeah. So I've got a small pouch of Andara. I don't have a big one because they're dead expensive, but I've got, oh, there's a piece of aquamarine as well in there. I have got,
Aquamarine is my birthstone.
really,
Yep.
I'm a Scorpio, so this is a green Andara. And so mine have actually come from Indonesia. They've not come from Mount Shasta, but they are still very connected into the same energies. They're very tiny. Let me get them out here. And then I've got, this is a white Andorra. I've got in here two more. I've got a blue, which is my favorite. And I've got an orange Andorra. And some people say, oh, it's just slumped glass, it's not really a crystal, but just try and hold it in your hand. And then tell me, when you ask that Andorra to work with you, when you really slow down and say, please work with me, do you have a message? You'll know that that is a powerful, powerful crystal, right?
Yeah.
It really is. And when I was at Base's conference in December, I got Dr. Amir to bless them for me, to cleanse them. And because he said the energy on them was a little bit low, so then he energized them for me. So sometimes I just wear a little mojo, little pouch behind, on my neck, with small crystals in. Valkyrie's saying that they work with rose quartz and fluorite. Wow, brave. Not a lot of people like rose quartz.
Oh, I
um,
love rose quartz.
I teach crystals, so I was doing a workshop last Saturday with a group of 11 ladies, and I always ask the question, does anybody not like rose quartz? And there's always at least half the group, because it's that compassionate level of healing, and it deals with relationships and inner child and stuff like that. So some people can't stand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not great with the pink crystals because I obviously have a lot of healing to do there. But I love working with green aventurine for my heart, or emerald. I work with emerald frequency. But yeah, it's a little
Uh,
pouch.
I've also found, due to being in the programs, I think is where this comes from, and hybrid as well,
Mm,
is I sit there and if something's going on and somebody goes, "Oh, well, you need this crystal."
mm.
I don't go and buy the crystal.
No.
I will sit there and hold my hand out
Yes.
like this and go, "Okay, essence of that crystal in my hand," and then I'll just
Yeah.
close my hand on it and I can feel it just go right through and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, got it.
Perfect. Not
Thanks."
many people talk about this, but I actually teach ethereal crystal energy studies. So it's something that you can attune to. But yes, in meditation, calling out to the energy of the crystal, calling out to the oversoul of the crystal, for sure, you can attune to those energies. So we have all those minerals within our body. There's no reason why we can't bring those properties together, because quartz is just silicon and oxygen, and you've got silicon and oxygen in your
Yeah.
body, and you've got quartz all the way up your spine, in your brain, you've got quartz everywhere. So yeah, so I work with the ethereal energy. So when I teach meditation studies or I guide meditations, we call in the energy of the crystal. We wash through the body. And we work with just the essence of the crystal the way you do. So I love that. Not many people get that. But my shop is closed on my website now. But I used to teach. There's different kind of Reikis and empowerments that I'm attuned to. Probably more than 50 different things right now. And that's one of the things that somebody's channeled, and they've made a little course on it, but it's only 50 crystals, and you can go so far beyond that. There's no limitation when you're working with the energy of the crystal or tuning into the oversoul. So I teach 4 levels of crystal studies, and one of them is working with these oversoul cards by Michael Eastwood. And when you tune into the mandala that he's created on these crystal cards, the energy, the vision that I can take people on because my voice is activating. So we go in and we meet the keepers of the oversoul of the crystal, and you receive an activation. Oh, it is amazing. So I love teaching crystal studies, absolutely love it. So last weekend was beginners, and but when we work together and we can get into those higher levels of working in the ethereal oversoul energy, that's exciting stuff. It really is. That kind of fires me up. So yeah. See, any quartz works with the heart chakra. Yeah, quartz is the master healing crystal. Go wherever it needs to go. It's full rainbow frequency. And you don't need to have a Lemurian quartz to call in Lemurian energies and information, because a lot of that is held in your Earth Star chakra as well. So okay. Yeah, sorry. I love talking about crystals. So when I do my lives, it's just me talking. I work a lot with crystal cards. So I love crystal cards, like daily inspiration. I do full readings on people just with crystal cards. And when I was teaching the class last weekend, and I just had a bowl of crystal, and in the bowl there was a zebra jasper. So you've got that black and white. There was an obsidian, and there was a clear quartz. So and everybody chose one, and on what they chose, I could tell them what was going on in their life, right?
Yeah.
Like just off
I,
that, just off those three. Yeah, so
I've
easy.
watched a lot of your readings.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh wow, cool. That's really
I'm
cool.
a silent watcher because usually
A
I'm
lurker. We call
listening
them
and
lurkers.
watching while I'm working on other stuff, and so I, I like to support my
Yeah.
friends and
Oh, I
everything they
appreciate that.
do,
But we call
and
them lurkers, so you need to get in the chat a bit more.
that's why when I wrote my ads for our conference that's coming up, I was like, hey, I
Yeah,
gotta
let's talk
add
about
this
that.
slide of Julia.
Oh, did
That kind of
you?
makes,
Oh, thank you.
yeah. On one of them, I made originally an ad for the speakers, the vendors, and everybody in a general one. And I think she was like, yeah, let's slide over and let's do it this way. And then she was gonna give me guidelines, and then she kind of was like, okay, yeah, Gina was like, okay, yeah, go ahead and just, create. And so I redid them and I
Oh,
redid an ad that was just general for the conference, announcing it, and you're in it.
oh, I need to
And
double check because I did see something and it was really funky. I didn't notice that I was in it though. I'll go back and check. So for everyone who's watching and listening on the replay, there is a live online conference this Saturday, the 14th of March. It starts at around 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern, and we're going until 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm moderating the full day live in the chat, except I may take a small break when Chris Lutterer is on because he's talking about Montauk. So Jason hopefully will step in and moderate that bit. And but it's a full day, and you are on. I can actually get up the thing. Hold on, let me find out.
I'm the third speaker,
You're the third speaker. So
I
I've already
think, or
posted it. Actually, I have posted it. The lineup because there's singing bowl like 3 times during the day.
yeah,
There's some great talks going on, and
Gina talks and does her thing, and then I think there's a
I'll just check my
performance
posts.
or something, and then there's me, and then everybody else, and
Yeah, she did ask me if I wanted to do a talk, and I've had a few people ask me things at the moment. I don't know. I'm just doing a straight no on things right now. Something's just not quite right in my energy. Um, but I am preparing a presentation about my SSP life, so I'm starting to write a book on that. So at some point I will get back. I do generally do talks, because I travel around the UK doing lecturing, but I talk mainly about crystals or general wellness or violet flame, that kind of thing. So talking about SSP is something that I'm trying to work towards. But I've got the lineup here, so we will be gathering from 8 a.m. onwards, and we'll be starting at 9 o'clock with a singing bowl session with Rick Gallagher, and then around 10 Gina's going to be doing a sacred space opening and a journey to the pine forest. Then Rick will do another clearing with the healing bowl for a few minutes. Gina's going to be talking about the Gnome King. Do you have a dream, or does the dream have you? I love that title. It's so funny. And then you're coming in after that. And you've got the power and the mythos of the hero's journey. So do you want to tell us a little bit what that means? Just touch on it. I'm trying to get the time on that, but the image is cut off a little bit.
I
It's
think it's
midday.
10:50.
10:55. Okay. 10:50. Yeah. So the power and the mythos of the hero's journey. So what points are you touching on in your talk? Can you share something with us?
So, without giving too much away, I
Mm.
am breaking down the hero's journey into the three parts that Joseph Campbell, who brought it into modern awareness, points out that these are the three stages of a hero's journey. And instead of just reiterating what he states and goes, okay, yeah, there's this stage, stage one, stage two, stage three, this is what happens. I, in turn, go and I say, okay, heroes' journeys are not just for when we're young. And it's not only for men, as you've seen in Hollywood and in stories for the longest time, that women actually have them too. But I go and I say, so let's break it down. Here's step one. Stage one, this is what's going on. This is what I've experienced, this part and what it is. And then I'll go stage two. This is what my insights and my experience have taught me. This is what this is. And here's stage three now. And this can be driving in traffic, can be a hero's journey, or experiencing a day in your life could be viewed as a hero's journey. And so I also ask the point of, do we ever finish the hero's journey to where we have no more? And so I do answer that through my own personal insights, and you're going to have to watch the presentation for that answer. And I also give the most powerful key to unlocking the power and the mythos of the hero's journey. And so check out the presentation because you'll get blown away with what the key to unlocking it is.
I love that. I think that's good because when we do tarot readings and things, the tarot is based on the hero's journey, the journey of the fool going from a novice to that experienced mastery. So yeah, I love that you're kind of relating it back into everyday life, that not everybody has, that divine purpose, noble mission. Some of
Yeah,
us are just trying to get through the freaking day. Right? Some of us are just trying to make ends meet or get our message out there. So yeah, I think I love that. That's such a good idea.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I have pictures of people during the hero's journey, different like ages or different genders, the two genders. And so it's like, yeah, it's my way of honoring both at the same time
Hmm.
and showcasing, what it looks like and what it is. And one thing that's interesting that you hit on is the Dark Night of the Soul. That's actually a part of the hero's journey. I don't
Hmm.
know if people realize that, but it is. And Dark Nights of the Soul, I love those. And I know that
I get like
sounds
4 or 5 a
strange.
year, man. It's like since I started on the SSP stuff as well, every month I have to say to people, I'm taking some time off, take some time off to do
Yeah.
this healing.
But
Yeah, it's hard. Mm.
so this is what I view Dark Nights of the Soul as. They are your shadow side, which is not your dark evil side. It's just your awareness side who's working the balance because I've learned the shadow itself, our shadow self, is both light and dark because it's not completely dark because you still see it. So there is light. So it's like the balance of both. And so what it does is it has the courage to say to you, here's a pattern in your life, that we think is no longer serving you. And you're at choice to go, yeah, you're right. It's not serving me. Let's change it. Or to go, nah, I like it. It's working for me, so we'll keep it. And the shadow's like, okay. But if you're going to do the work on it, it's going to put you through your paces. But at the end of the Dark Night of the Soul, you have new awareness, you have new perceptions and new energy levels. I mean, it's like you're actually getting like rebirth through this Dark Night of the Soul. So it's like,
Yeah, I agree.
do I love going through all the trauma drama? No.
Trauma drop.
But I'm like, the end result totally makes it worth it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just push through when I get to them. And you're lucky you only have five.
It's probably, well, they're just all blending together now. I teach a little program with my ladies group on the evenings, and every few months we do an Anchored in Shadow Strength. And this is like a 6 week journey of going into the darkness within to find those diamonds in the dark, which are our greatest strengths. So, that light you're talking about, for me, that's coming from the diamonds. And these are the things that have been pressed down so hard. You've been told you're not good enough, don't do that, you're weird, and all this kind of stuff. It's been pressed down. Your greatest strengths become forgotten. But under all that pressure, they've become these diamonds. So, when we do our Akashic record work, we go into the records and we start mining diamonds, right? We start bringing out those strengths, bringing them forward, and we work with really lovely, compassionate guys. So I'm my anchored goddess is Guan Yin, goddess of compassion and mercy. She's like my mother. I teach Violet Flame Reiki, and that's her modality. So I bring in Goddess Guan Yin, who brings in her compassion, her mercy, her grace, compassion under action, and then we bring in like Grandmother Spider Woman, who weaves the web of creation. We bring in energies of white Tara. We bring in these beautiful, beautiful purity and justice energies, and then we start going in there. But we do it in the light. So I work in the dark with the light, just like you're talking about, but we're doing it with diamonds. And so we bring out the most precious thing that we've been creating our entire life, and that's the stuff that's been locked away. But we bring it out now as this empowering tool. Yeah, so I
So,
do love to do the shadow work, yeah,
yeah.
but it's uncomfortable, especially when you've got all these support groups around you, and sometimes you're listening to other people's trauma drama, and it sparks something in you. So we have to be really careful, I think, don't we? Sometimes who we're spending time with, and how where they are on their journey as well, because it's going to spark something in you. Because yesterday I had frequency shift, and I had two people reach out to me, and one person, obviously I know them from a dark program, and they started talking about all of that, and I had no idea that that's where that conversation was going, and I wasn't prepared. So sometimes you've got to make sure that other people have got capacity to have that conversation with you, before we start opening up this whole like can of worms of drama and trauma. And so yeah, so my awareness has opened up a lot more now to think of, or maybe I recognize you, but I'm not going to say anything yet. I'm going to wait for you to come to me, right? I'm going to wait for
Well,
you to be in a position where you're ready, because that's a lesson I've had to learn recently as well from somebody who's a lot more experienced on their super soldier journey than I am. And I sent them some information, and they said, I see you. I can confirm that I was there, but I don't have capacity to go into this right now, but I may consider it. And that was a very clear boundary for me, and I respect that greatly. Yeah, because some people, different times. Anyway, I'll leave it.
yeah.
I'll
So
go off on one.
here's a great tool if you want to do visualization for it, is hold up a lump of coal. It doesn't have to be a really big lump, and be like, here's your dark night. And then you hold up a quartz or a crystal or a diamond, and you go, this is what you're going to be when you come out. This ugly looking thing is what makes this. And a lot of people don't realize that's where diamonds come from. They just figure, oh, they're growing in the ground. This piece broke off. They don't realize it's actually coal that's been compressed,
Yes,
put under
diamonds in the
extreme
dark,
pressure,
formed under
and
pressure. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's so cool. I'm just going to there's a question for you, and it is, what is your favorite location to do research on the phenomenon? And I'm just going to go check that my son's getting up ready for school. So if you answer your favorite location to do paranormal investigations, and I'll be right back.
All right. Wow, that's a loaded question. I'm gonna assume you mean globally. So in the US, I will say on my bucket list is a few places in Nevada, a couple of ranches that have a lot of activity going on. There's Mount Shasta I want to go to, and Gettysburg and Antietam. I want to go to experience the phenomenon that's there where people have recorded seeing the troops from the Civil War moving around and acting like they're reenacting when they're really not, and seeing if I can time travel there. I've done it a couple of times without realizing it and not on paranormal investigations, but that would be interesting to do. And globally, I would say one area is Ireland with Newgrange and some of the monolithic and castles there. Let's see, there's the catacombs of Edinburgh in Scotland. The Paris catacombs seem kind of interesting. Um, wow, I'm having to really think about this. Ooh, let's see. I might want to go back to Machu Picchu because, or not Machu Picchu, sorry, Chichen Itza, because I've been there a couple of times, but never for paranormal purposes. And what's a good last one to leave with? Let's see. Actually, so it's not really paranormal technically. And I say that because I'm not doing it for a ghost or anything, but it's paranormal for me because it's unexplained. Is to go to Tintagel and Camelot and Glastonbury because
Yeah.
I want to go back to the lands where I was a kid and was taught by Merlin.
Yeah, so I am a Merlin. I am a student of Merlin. So that kind of thing really resonates with me. But at the end of this month, I'm going to Bala Lake, which is in Wales, because I'm doing a retreat with some friends in Barmouth. But to get there, you've got to go via Bala Lake. And to me, that is where the lady resides. That's where Excalibur is kept. It's not Glastonbury. It's in Bala Lake in Wales, right? So when I go, I will live stream from when I'm there, and you guys can see what I mean. I teach a Reiki that's called Mists of Avalon. And so, right the week before I go, I'm going to be calling in the Mists of Avalon energy, calling in Excalibur, which I work with as an energy. I also work with Milner, which one of my friends was really annoyed with. How did you get Milner? Because I'm worthy. That's why, because it's an energy that we could all have. Do you need to go? And but I just wanted to touch on Tintagel. Yeah, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go to Cornwall. It's one of the darkest places here. It's got high radiation because of the granite, but the secret space program, super soldier weird shit that went on there, it's all SRA, it's all very dark. I had the opportunity to go when I was at bases in December. Everyone was going, finishing the conference and going to Tintagel and going to those areas to see, to see Bob Osborne. stay at his house. And I just thought, no, I think I've been abducted there more than enough while I was a child, thank you, on adventure holidays that I went to in Cornwall. I don't need to go back there. But a lot of people did. And I know Dr. Amir loves it over there. And yeah, so tell everybody how they can find you. And it's been so good, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. And so you can find me on Facebook under Michael Kopf, YouTube, it's Michael Kopf, I think 205, I think is my new YouTube channel. And you can find me on Rumble under the show names. There's Riding Through the Unknown and The Energy That Surrounds Us, Paranormal Verses, and I have a Rumble channel, Michael's Adventures, where I post interviews and updates about books and appearances and episodes that I think are really kind of cool and people get a lot of information out of. So, yeah, and I have a link tree that has my website and all the social media that I'm on, so you can find me on that through the link tree, and it's a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
I think this is my second time on your show,
It's the
so that's
second
pretty
time,
cool.
but we're going to need you to come back on in a couple of weeks because we haven't touched on TVs or movies, which I really want
Yeah,
to do. Yeah, because I get very excited about that. And I did a show with Aurora Diamond Heart, and we got into things. And funnily enough, it was Xena Warrior Princess, that short that I cut. It's got nearly 1,000 views in 24 hours.
yeah.
So I don't know if you like Xena, but it's definitely something we're going to be talking
Oh, I
about.
watched Xena, Hercules. I
Yeah,
watched a
oh,
lot of
Hercules, yeah.
sci-fi.
Yeah, that's so next time we'll get into that for sure. But I know the guys will want to hear more paranormal stories because they love all that weird shit. So, but thank you
Yeah,
so much. This has been so good, and I'm gonna promote a lot about Saturday because we've got this fantastic conference coming on. So I'm really excited about that.
yes,
Okay.
it's Gina Virginia Cassell is putting it on. It's the first ever, so it's on the part of the story species, story medicine that she does, which if you ever get a chance to watch those, that's really cool because
Yeah.
authors get a chance to talk about their books. So check those out too.
Yeah, that's perfect. Your new book's coming out this week, is it?
I it launched on March 2nd.
Oh, right. Okay, perfect. So we'll look forward to that. So this has been great. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.